Told y'all I would be back with another insightful topic because I'm in that working mood tonight, and there's so many more topics to be discussed. And these are not just topics, though to some of us they're just topics. These topics are the insight, the very real insight of real people's lives. And today was my first time coming across this story about this young man who was harassed at a traffic stop. This is You Will Make It TV, by the way. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe bell so that you're notified every time we go live as well. Feel free to share our stream while we are live streaming so that others are able to listen in to our topics and stuff as well. That's another free way to show your support, okay? If you're interested in contributing into these inspirational quotes, inspirational quote journals, anything we're doing over here at You Will Make It TV to help share more inspiration, you are welcome to either email us at soulworkimages11@gmail.com for more information, or just simply forward your donations to my PayPal, which is Tetasheri W. You can look at the spelling of my name right there in the banner of the channel. Uh, Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get this back up because I'm going to let you guys hear a news segment on this story really quick for those that haven't heard it already. And this, what y'all are hearing, is the actual accident in play. The young man was recording this specific traffic stop. The alleged rumor is that the traffic stop originally was over headlights, him not having headlights on, and from in this. You know how it's evening, but it's not quite dark yet, or it could have been straight up daytime. I'm not really sure about the facts with that part, but you can definitely tell that the sun it's a lot of daylight in the images that I'm seeing right here in this footage. So I was just wondering, like, how do you get pulled over for that? And people do go to the original reason of traffic stops for reasons just like this. We're going to talk about what happened to him, how he's fighting for justice right now, why people are angry, what the press conference, what the chief was saying in the press conference, why people are kind of like baffled and confused at his response, and whether we should consider this just another act of violence between officers and the American black citizen. But here we go, y'all listening.
And he pulled me over. You know, open my door because my window don't work, right? Yeah. And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain. It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on. Can you pull that law up? Huh? Can you pull that law up? Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will. Can you call your supervisor? Can you call your supervisor? All right, go for it.
That shatter right there y'all just heard in the recording, I'm finna rewind it for y'all. This clip right here is only a minute and 47 seconds, but that shatter that we hear is them breaking out his window. First you hear hey, can I speak to your supervisor? Can you show me this law? He's saying that his headlights should have been on because of the weather, okay? And I would imagine it had to been raining or something, but we know everybody does not use their headlights in the daytime, regardless of what the weather is. I can understand the snow, because in some states that's very well on the driver's test. You need to use your headlights through certain weather because of how, especially when it gets a little darker. And you can even use a certain type of headlights, backup, or you can put your brights on, right? Some people have been pulled over for their brights. Their brights were too bright. So I'm going to run it back so you can hear what he was saying at the beginning again, okay?
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain. It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on. Can you pull that law up? Huh? Can you pull that law up? Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will. Can you call your supervisor? Huh? Can you call your supervisor? All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
I'm gonna do y'all one better. I'm gonna pause this real quick. I'm gonna actually see if I can put the camera on. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can see this clip really quick. Hold on, hold on. All right, there we go. There we go. This what happened, y'all. I'm hitting play as y'all see.
All my door and my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong? He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights on first of all, and then there's no rain. It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on. Can you pull that law up? Huh? Can you pull that law up? Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will. Can you call your supervisor? Huh? Can you call your supervisor? All right, go for it.
This is just out of line right here. So that's damage to his car. That's damage to his car. That's what I'm saying. He's still in his seatbelt. Y'all see him put his hands up? That's a sign of surrender. Wow, y'all. Then they told him to stop fighting. He wasn't even fighting. I should have said trigger warning. I'm sorry, guys. Trigger warning.
So if I close the door, if you see him pull up. Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do that. Don't resist, you idiot. I didn't do nothing wrong, sir. Can you back me up to the car so I can leave up? If you're thinking of selling your house, want to know how
My
much more
bad,
you could be
y'all.
getting?
I gotta stop the ad, but y'all saw that with your own eyes. You saw it with me. And the update is that it says the JSO opens an internal investigation after this incident, because I don't think I have to explain. I was just breaking down my reaction to it. Here is one more clip though of y'all him speaking out after the incident. So let me play. Let me play this one real quick. Ooh. Oh man, I'm starting to learn how to show the stuff now. Hold on. Boom, we got it right here. This is him. This the young man right here speaking out after the incident.
Wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared.
To see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22. It hurted. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he shot right. And he did right. To see that it's a hurting feeling. To be a father that loved God first. And to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get a phone call saying your child is gone. That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God. Because God got it.
I want you to try to put yourself in our shoes. Try to put yourself in William's shoes just for a second. The police stop you and tell you, you say, why are you stopping me? And they say, well, you don't have your headlights on and it's raining. And you look and you're like, there's no rain. And why are you stopping me? And all he does, why I say it's a Rosa Parks 21st century moment, he as a black person says, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm going to try to demand my constitutional rights. That's the only thing that we did. And that's the only thing you would want your children to do. To say, as a citizen, don't I have the right to know why you're violating my Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure unlawfully? That's it. Nothing more. So search your hearts, America. If this was your child, wouldn't you be proud that William kept his calmness and his demeanor and de-escalated it? And let that govern you when you call on the sheriff to hold these accountable. Because that's what we have to get here. We have to have accountability.
So what I wanted to show y'all next, and it's the last clip, I promise, it was the police, you know, how they come out and give a statement about, you know, and he says, by no means are we saying that our officers were right about it, but he was saying, first, y'all have to allow us to do a internal investigation. We got to see what happened. But people were saying, what more is there to see? He got the footage right there. It was said right there why he was pulled over. He already felt like it was just, so he was just requesting and demanding to speak to a supervisor for more officers to come out on the scene at that time. And you already know this has already made it on the Dr. Rashad Ritchie show too. I might not be as big of a platform, but from black sister to black brother, man, I agree with Brother Ben Crump on that. Like, shouldn't we be applauding this young man's resilience in that situation? Because even though they were shouting out their mouth, quit fighting, quit resisting, that young man was in his seatbelt all the way until the point, like, they grabbed him out the car. From what I saw, did y'all see that? You busted in his window. I know that we're more grateful that the young man is even here, because not every victim makes it out of those brutal police attacks. 1 second, y'all. To make matters even worse, this wasn't just some young random thug running the streets. He was actually a student. For most kids right now, it is the summertime, and he was more of a young adult. He is. Let me stop saying was, like, I was saying was as a past tense. In the time of this incident, most of the kids are out. The teens, the kids, the young adults that are students right now. You know, if anything, they're more preparing and gearing up for this very soon time of returning, actually. But when you're a student, that status doesn't go away just because it's the summertime. You're a student until you're done being a student in anything you study. And I was just wondering, I don't want to jump too fast on the gun with my opinion tonight. Anything I state is just my commentary, reaction, and opinions on this matter. He doesn't need our opinions, ladies and gentlemen. This young man needs our support. And when I say support, I mean the type of support where people are giving you more accolades, more respect where it's due, that he did practice nothing but resiliency, even in a moment that he knew he was 100% innocent. That brutal force, what people are responding and saying, with this video that is going viral right now, that thank God he was recording. That footage didn't come from I don't think that came from a body cam. That looks like him was sitting there recording himself. Now we got to understand a little better. Now, y'all know You Will Make It TV of all channels. I always preach that. I don't like the new era with cameras on everything and around us. But see, it's situations just like these where you're kind of forced. And it's like, where are all the cameras then? Where are all the cameras then? Or was he already? That's why I'm glad, to hear that much. They are going to open up a deeper investigation about what he went through. Because it didn't look like they used force right there at the window, at the driver's seat window, to break the glass in. Y'all know when glass shattered, because I've been in a wreck where the glass all over the car shattered. And we got out that car with not a scratch on our body. To this day, I still don't understand. If I encourage him with any encouraging words at this time, it's like, bro, from what I seen, I know the emotional and psychological and spiritual attack was there, but as far as just, he don't even look like what he been through. Some people get up with bigger scars, bro. That doesn't mean he wasn't afflicted by any pain. That's not what I'm saying. But I know that one with the shattered glass, it even took me aback for a second, because that's one of those experiences you really don't know unless you've been in it. Like a bad storm or somebody just breaking through your glass like that. Right there, when I say in your face, I mean literally. If you're sitting in the driver's seat, all that glass gonna go right on you. And that could, it could get in your eye, it could get in your mouth, do some damage, because that's like forced, that's like blunt, what they call blunt force to glass like that. That is crazy. So anyways, he elbows, breaks it in. Of course, to me, I would say in that moment, very much so exhibiting his position of power. And that's crazy. Like, okay, that's crazy how we're seeing that a lot more. It's not new, but everybody on this kick of not just using their power or bragging about the power that they have, but literally trying to challenge those with little to no power, or just challenge us to see if we know our power. Just challenge your power like that. This is why it will always be a topic. It shouldn't even be a topic anymore. Why are people in certain positions of power so readily excited to, because I say, yeah, flex it, exhibit it when it's needed, but pulling somebody, like, how does a traffic stop about headlights turn into all this blunt force, breaking in a young man's window, and he looked like he was in a car by himself? Imagine the emotions that were running through his mind at that time, through his body. Something like that can give you a whole anxiety attack in that moment. They don't be knowing if people on medication. You don't know until they search their car and find out anything about him. It looked like they didn't even, or maybe that's where he started recording. Did y'all hear him when they got him at the car? They was like, yo, it's some weed in his pocket right here. Did y'all see what state? They said this was Florida police, by the way. And I've been actually proud of Florida lately as far as the governing laws that I saw changing there. But isn't it unfortunate when you start at a state level, that don't mean the police is outside always doing the right thing, like every single one of them. And you think in the investigation they're not going to ask him why? What was your purpose of even pulling that person over? And the best they got right now was a headlight. And they already have proof, because the man had this on camera phone. It wasn't raining or anything, y'all. It's the middle of July. It's the end of July. I'm talking about we in the peak of the summer right now. That doesn't mean it can't be weather storms as far as rain and tornadoes and stuff like that. But none of that was even going on in the video from what I saw either. But anybody that want to look at it again, you can rewind this live back to the beginning. I showed a few clips. I said I was going to show the one. I think this is important too, though. But even if I don't show it, y'all go check it out. Because they came out and made public statement. Not the victim, but the police. And people said they didn't like the response already, because I saw them. It's one thing to break some property damage without a search warrant. All of that was wrong. So I just wonder what was going on with that officer there. With that situation, do y'all think it was more, or that he was targeted, or what? Leave your opinions in the comments. People still want to live in this fantasy world, like, oh yeah, everybody in chief positions are have the brightest intentions. My heart was even broken when I found that's not always that. They are human beings too. Like I teach my kids, nobody have to like nobody. I always say this is a very great topic to bring it up again. It should never go further than that. That's your thought to yourself, or you share it with a few people, but you got to be careful with that too. People say keep your business to yourself. So it means who we don't like either, who we look down on too, keep that to ourselves too. Well, preach that to the people too. Because sometimes you just going to share with 3 or 4 other people that you don't like a person has now 100% put that person in danger. But it is a topic that we are renormalizing again. But why? Why is it every so often you got another, we're still saying RP to Kanisha Jenkins and Sandra Bland and other people who lost their lives to police brutality? Even if these people were supposedly brought to judgment for it, some people say to them, compared to how the incidents were, they didn't even get as much time as they should have, just because of their positions. How long has this been going on? Well, you were a teacher, so we only gonna give you 5 years. Uh-oh. You were a doctor, so we're only gonna give you probation. But had you gone out there, you see, they'll call you a drug dealer in a minute. They'll call you a street pharmacist or a street doctor in a minute. But when a doctor performs the same type of crime as anybody else do without his position, he should still be weighed the same. But yes, that is a justice system we all wish and hope for, like straight equality all across the board, as much as we can get it when these cases are brought up like this. Every case deserves thorough, because that's where I'm at with this topic right here. At this point, they've already committed the act. He's already suffered the pain. So I just say this: in his time of grief, in his time and fight for justice, every case deserves a thorough investigation. This is why. This is exactly why. When you got a team of officers that can say, oh, it was like this. That's what people say it too. Like, don't try to control what we see on whole video. This is how narcissist people have become. You are watching a video, you seeing with your eyes. And what did I tell y'all on in some of my other teachings? 10 people can be looking at the same image and still get 10 different messages. They all got like, hey, what did you notice about the picture? What did you notice about the picture? What did you notice about the video? That's the thing that the comments sections of any social media platform should have taught us by now. Everybody's going to have a different thing of what they saw. But to come out publicly, that's what the people felt like. Like, you're trying to control what we feel about what we saw. Why y'all think they get more aggressive when you pull out? I'm going to admit that. Like, you shouldn't even feel nervous to pull it. If you will pull out your phone anywhere else and take a picture or a video, you should not, NOT, have to be afraid to do it in front of an officer or a civil servant of any sort. You can pull your phone out if you want to and record the conversation. Now I see why people should be careful with it. You think watch what you're recording with. That's where we at with this. As soon as you save it in your Google files as a video, how you know somebody else don't have access to what you just went through? And that, I'm saying that on the positive and the negative side. When somebody saves something, you know who all else got access to that. But you want somebody to feel nervous with their phone out around you. It hasn't been too many instances in my life where somebody told me to put my phone up, but I do challenge it if I'm a grown woman, and depending on where I am. And yes, I am considered what they call a black woman. It depends on what the situation is. It makes me automatically feel like you're fishy to not want to be caught on camera doing your job that you get paid for. Because if the world does turn to that and we got to have super surveillance in every place of employment just to keep people safe, they might as well get ready for it. How you got body cams, but you still have these type of situations going on? Like, they're showing you, like, maybe the body cams was, y'all, the people requested that. You see, And then some programs have been defunded. But when you defund a whole police department, is that hurting the police department or the people? Don't defund them. What else are we doing to hold them more accountable? People said that years ago, like, oh, well, they should be charged to the max sentences everybody else would get. And I bet you they stopped doing stuff. If they see more examples of, oh, this cop got life, this cop got 25 to life. If they start saying, bro, if they would have started happening a long time ago, they wouldn't be bold with what they do. Do your job, and then we shouldn't be scared to record you. You just doing your job, right? You can record me doing my job, which is a mother or whatever else I got to do every day. You're being recorded doing your job with the body cam on. That's supposed to be the point of that being on you. And then when it's somebody else paid for a device, they done already paid the data, the phone service, the text messages, everything. They even pay for the apps that they carry on the device, okay? We can't be friendly in the phone arena when we go to the phone stores and sell them to people, because what do you think they do with them? Well, now they have the freedom to invest in apps and softwares and different stuff on their phone. Your phone is free as far as the services once you pay for it. But some of those apps, Google Play, you still got to pay money. All right, so you want to tell me this device, I'm paying money for everything on, everything in my life is in here. I got to put it up because you said I got to. No, I'm not trying to cause a rift or a problem in society, but why is it not okay to challenge somebody telling you to put your phone away? And we're not talking about the kids right now. We're talking about adults when they're in a time of conflict, and these are authorities that are above you. That's why you do. It seems like we spend more of our time these days actually putting people in their place. Because if you're not in a place of authority, or what level of authority are you, okay? You being my manager is not you being a police officer, but they think you're being funny when you go there. You know, it's like, act your authority. Act ACT. You got too many people. I said it on the live yesterday. It's like they trying to do the police job. You just know an officer. He's your uncle. He's your dad. He's your brother. He's your boyfriend's ex-brother, cousin. So you think that you can go out here enforcing the law everywhere for them. Let's remember, the citizen's job is to know the law. It's to know their rights. It really is that. That is our jobs out here. And as long as we think it doesn't matter, these situations continue to happen. Yes, we're speaking on it on the afterthought, but let's talk about this. People should not be scared to pull out their phone around, in front of, behind an officer. The way that we can be surveillance at any given time in our life, it shouldn't be like that. Like literally feel fear. Somebody feel fear, like they feel like they got to sneak their phone out and record you. Not the bystanders. We know they always try to get the footage of everything. This wasn't one of those videos that you see bystanders posting it too. It was the person personally in the situation. So he was talking about the anxiety and fear he felt a little bit in the situation. So I was listening to him when he spoke, when he came out. It's not just about, oh, poor young man. No, listen to what he was saying. He said, man, I was like scared. He said scared and confused. I was like, it was just, to me, the glass, if that wasn't enough, like every act they exhibited was screaming, I want your power. I want your confidence. I want your boldness. I want your rights. Because what else are you evading? You already bust the man glass out. And I noticed he put both of his hands in the air. Like, right after he notices you busting out his glass, he already trying to show you, hey, I don't mean no harm. I'm not reaching for nothing. And this is on camera. I'm not reaching for nothing. I'm not going to try to lash out. I'm not even going to scream. He just sat there. I'm trying to remember if I seen him unbuckle the seatbelt or them. But that's how peaceful he was in this time of unrest that went from 0 to 10 really quick. What y'all call 0 to 10 real quick. That's what this situation did. The young man is just trying to make it through the summer so he can return to school. I guarantee you. And we all know school finna start back. It just start back at different times for different places. I hope that he gets a part of what he gets is an actual extra bonus towards his education, if not completely free, just because he was a student. It's not just justice, like ask for it in specific places, since these are the areas of your life they touch. They don't need, that's the point of you getting a person's identification. Let them tell you a little bit about who they are right there on the scene. Why are you coming in there like, oh yeah, I already knew you. I already know what I'm here for. Because this one seems to be a mistake or a quick agenda of a lie. You had to come up with something quick, like, oh, it was the weather. Well, they told him that on camera. Well, we pulling you over for your headlight. I try to be peaceful too. Anytime I'm pulled over, I'm not even coming at you. I'm not finna come at you aggressive. I understand your authority. That's the thing. How many of us do? I understand what my rights and what my job is when you pull me over. What you're, and as long as everybody doing what they supposed to do, we've never had to have a high level of confrontation like that. Even when I feel like, hey, what's going on here? Because it was times I had multiple cars, and maybe you drove one, but you left the other one somewhere, or you drove that one to park it. So how are you gonna get the other? Nobody can drive 2 cars, 3 cars at one time. So, you might get a ride or something just to go back to your other car. But let's say you're in that ride, you get pulled over and they ride. You ain't even the driver. They get pulled over. You just trying to make it back to your other car. That's the thing I be talking about with knowing people. Just these days, it's gonna matter. He could have had his license, registration, everything together. It looked like they was just immediately ready to start something with him. It's really sad. This is why we have to continue to preach image and how much it's going to matter that we do not judge people by the content, the color, the contrast of their skin, but rather their character. We all know it's true. You just always going to have that bad group of grapes who want to challenge it. They that's just what they do. And to me, that's who they need to be out here being aggressive with. People who still can't see past skin color. That's who you get aggressive with. And I don't mean in a form of violence. I mean preach knowledge to them in hopes that they may apply it to their own lives one day. Because who's out here just still like, oh, I want to mess with somebody. Oh, he's black. Let's pull him out. I feel like they be in secret laughing about some of this stuff. And it's their entertainment, our lives. When really, you're a whole civil servant. And you get paid and you go through extensive training to do exactly what you do. It's people maybe dream of that. Really, they used to teach people, yeah, you can dream to be an officer one day. Like, the things people been seeing today, y'all are taking it away from them. Or what do you... That's why they often say bullies become them. People that were bullied or bullies sometimes too. They feel like, which I'm not going to say I disagree. A bully should join stuff like that, like boxing. I'm with that. Like, take something that people call negative in your life and channel it in a positive way for yourself first. But a bully joining like authority type organizations is crazy, because what if they never changed? Like, now they just have a badge on, they have a weapon, and now this bully is what? That's why you see situations like this. I still believe that they're trying to challenge it to the max. Like, do y'all still believe there's good cops and bad cops? Yes, we do. The number might even be getting smaller of the good versus the bad, but it's never a quantity thing when we're talking good and bad. So I'm gonna keep faith in that too. Like, how can we control that people who have more than us? And now I am talking tangibly, not just money wise, a gun, a badge, pepper sprays, big guns too. Police be having. Y'all, we know that the ones under them who look up to them to serve and protect do not have that. You have access to things only for the purposes of your job, not to be intimidating and bullying people and trying to scare them. Because like I said, why is people scared to pull their phones out? They should be able to pull their phone out just like they do. Like, hey, I'm finna do a TikTok. I'm finna take a picture, or I'm gonna record this fight today. Okay, pull it out. Pull it out during a traffic stop. See if you don't irritate the officer a little bit. It's like the whole environment gonna change just because you pulled your phone out. They take that, I guess, as a threat. All you saying is, I just want to record this. As long as you're doing your job, what's wrong with me? Hell, this video could be used as one of y'all training example videos. You do your job so well. You shouldn't be worried about me. It's some places in healthcare too that'll try to tell you, no, you can't bring the camera in here, but that's weird too. I guess it depends on where you are. Because why you can't pull your camera phone out in the hospital bed? You got to pay attention. Is it a private hospital? A lot of things could matter. Why you can't pull your phone out in a restaurant? Anywhere else, you've never heard of this. But when you pull them out in front of certain, I don't care if you see the army going down the street. Why can't y'all down the street in army tanks? Maybe I want to pull my phone out and record it. And I guarantee you, those with those level of clearances of security, the badges they earn, the trainings they honor, and the oaths that they make, it's like, oh my God, it's a never-ending battle. People are going to continue to use that position to bully people. It's sad. And we wonder why China is already proposing robot police. They said we rather deal with these that we have, because the robot police, what if they make a mistake too? They have accidentally profiled you as something else, or they thought you moved too fast, so it started shooting at you. That's why we may as well make up our minds and in our hearts, who is our true authority today? Y'all heard his father crying? He said, it hurt me to see that video, knowing I'm a firm believer in God. And I'm actually one of those black dads that put God first. That's pretty much what he's saying. Not many of them do that. I'm not saying they don't exist, but it's not, you do have a great handful of them too, that God is not the first thing that black man puts in their life every day, or honor or have faith in. I would say when this type of stuff happened to faith believers, what else is there to say? It was meant to happen to test that family's faith first, and God will choose you. And they saying, here she is, because some people don't believe that. They're tired of hearing the peaceful protest speech. Peace, just have love and share love, and let's just stop this. Because, since when has, thing change overnight? Even when you had those people stand up and talk and speak, they end up getting attacked. It's just sad. You can't speak up about a robot police. They talking about them already. But once they're here, actually on the streets and everything, it would, in a way, defund the police. I'm sure a lot of them will lose their jobs. That's number one. Number two, they might still have them because you would still need those quote-unquote handlers or controllers behind the scene checking into the data that they do get from these robots. That's why I feel like either way, the police will always exist. Even if they're just not physically out there, they will be behind the scenes, probably being the ones in control of the robots. Not really controlling them, because they say these things are going to have their own like AI function. They can talk. They can ask you questions. They can ask you for your license and registration. These robo cops and cars they're finna have soon. It makes me like, man, I don't know which one is worse. You not knowing how a human is going to feel today or tomorrow just because of the job they have, or you not knowing how a robot is going to feel today or tomorrow, But still, here mankind is still just trying to harvest the most power they can out of the earth while they're here. And it's like, if you're bound here, where are you going with it? What power really do you have but to extend it here? And it's out of control when you got to get to robots, because the people don't know how to act. But anyways, I sent positive thoughts, inspiring thoughts, and I might even write some poetry and come up with a quote. My last book, Black Blood, was inspired by what we saw with George Floyd in that situation. It was another police brutality. It was just a poem book and dedication. You know, how did it make us feel? Because sometimes who's hurting worse, the witness or the victim? That's another question I've been meaning to ask society lately. Who hurts worse? I'll write a poem about it so they feel my pain a little more. Who hurts worse? Everybody wants to beat down the witness and tell them they didn't see or hear or feel what they saw, felt, and heard. But the actual victim felt, saw, and heard it too, because it happened to them. You see? So people are already standing up about that. Like, stop. They see y'all doing it. Stop trying to tell us what the camera showed. We see a family just chilling. One in that room, one over there, and one reading her book over there at the table. You're trying to tell us, look at them. They're a dysfunctioning family. They're still up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to give an example. No, don't try to control what we see. We might understand a family having a different life because they're all different ages, or they all have different living habits in one home. You know, they just want to control every narrative. A way to me to try to challenge people to get out of that mindset is, you're right. Don't let nobody control what you see. And that chief got up there and tried to say, well, we still are looking at what is there to see? They yanked that man up out the car after breaking his glass and then beat him outside. And they were paying attention to the fact that just so happened the cops that jumped on this young brother were Caucasian, but the man who gave the statement about the incident was a black man. Some people were saying they feel like they pushed this black man out here forward to kind of keep the people at ease and bay, like, maybe if we let a black man speak. So they was listening to him too. And they was like, they just don't feel like he was speaking. I want to encourage the people, just because they seem to not show a certain thing in public, you don't know what a person working on, what a person feel. If you know that what they're speaking and saying, if you already feel like it's just for the image, well, just sit back and watch the whole image. That's all I can encourage people to do. You can't say what he's not helping to do, or because you got to understand, when them good ones and bad ones work together, why are they just going to come out and make it obvious like, oh, yeah, y'all was wrong. You three white cops. Like, he just supposed to be in there taking them all down. He's just one man himself. You could be one man in the whole army evil, and you the only good one in the bunch. You better blend in. I mean, eventually they're going to turn you like them, or they're going to try to stop your efforts, even though you just one man of trying to do the right thing within your police force. It's a lot of that going on. That's why I actually can't wait a little bit. I asked which one is worse, but the RoboCops might be better. At least you don't have people just going out for their emotions walking around here hurting people. Some of these victims had kids, they had family. You heard George Floyd, he was calling on his mother as that this officer had ample time to take his knee off of this man's neck. Like, bro, you had minutes, seconds to just stop. Put handcuffs on the man and put him in a car like your job is to do. You know. And people say, well, we shouldn't feel bad. You know, you know what a good man is versus somebody that's actually trying to start trouble. And if we can't see it anymore, we're actually all in trouble. Because now you're even going after the wrong crowd, or you're just targeting a certain crowd that's actually here to do the right thing. Didn't they see that it said he was a black student? He was he could have been a whole college student trying to get ready for school. But if he want to enjoy summer and take a ride outside, you shouldn't have to worry about being harassed by cops. Now, we all know you can't be out there speeding and doing hurley circles and making smoke come out the back of your car and all that crazy stuff in the street. But we do see people out here doing it. The summer is the most prevalent time. It seemed like the George Floyd situation was also in the summer, though. And yep, it has happened to women too. From graffiti to, y'all know what graffiti is. That's like just writing racial slurs on somebody's porch. And that's why I had always said, you cannot like somebody, you can have an opinion about them. It just should never go further than that, in my opinion. That's why there's so many problems in society with this right now. I don't know what, and you gotta look at the generations before. I told y'all it's like they keep trying to put it on us, but who first exhibited that type of character? Where are people getting this from? Yeah, they have plants too. People they just set in place to cause damage and chaos so that this is the narrative of our people. Like, yeah, well, we had to beat them because they were out of control, but y'all be out here putting whole people out here to do that. That had nothing to do with the community. You sent them out there. That's why I am glad. That's why I can leave this topic in peace, knowing that we heard what we heard, guys. It's under investigation now. I hope they look for things like, did those cops know him? Was he a troubled kid? They had to call him on him a lot? Was he known to get pulled over like that? Where was he? Check the traffic cams. You see his family is hurt, but it don't hurt to look into them too. Some of these families, they be knowing police. So, because for sure, what he just went through, nobody deserves. And that's still advantage of your love young one, though that's your love young one. You're the older one, you might have more influence. You might know people that he don't know. That young man is just trying to get through school. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of that going on too. Or did they just, pick him? He was the special target for that day. But they have to, that's what an investigation is about. I think they owe him a new car too. We know once you get certain, and that's all they do too. They'll try to sell it out. No, they need to be fired immediately. And then they'll just go to another city and work there. It's just crazy. Why they can't be put in systems where you don't have a job ever again. They have the power to do that to other people, trust me. Call and make sure you don't get a job ever, or whatever you're trying to do. They can put a whole roadblock there, let's be honest. So why stuff on their job? Like I said, they gotta stop. It just be like slap on the wrist. A long time ago, if it was, no, you can get the same penalty as somebody who wasn't a police if they would have did it. If you catch a police stealing out of bank, you catch him creeping, you catch him stalking, anything that any one of us can do. If you catch him doing it, he deserves the same penalty as one of us would have got. So justice does have to be fought for. It's not something that just falls in our lap. Many people marched, died, bled, sweat, got abused for this today. And now wonder our voices are so loud about it. This is 2025. This is years after the Constitution has been amended many other times about stuff where they went in and changed whole laws because things had been that bad before. They didn't want the country to turn back into that. So here it is. We have generations that pop up later every time with a new trick to turn these days back to those days. That's why I was wondering who doing it. It gotta be the older people. If the younger generation was only accustomed to what they know now, outside of the little history they learn at school, why would it be them trying to turn the hands of time on the clock and make things how it was at a time before? I never thought it was a young group with a stupid idea like that. That's somebody who remembers those days and must have remembered the luxuries and advantages they got off of the back of others who wants to turn back the hands of time in that way. It's really crazy. They keep trying to, anywhere you go, you got to respect the laws of the land there. Australia have their laws, and then it's the different states in Australia, And it goes on and on. Maybe, and why do y'all wonder, or have you ever wondered why people want to be so close to watch the cases of American history? Whether they watch it on documentaries, TV, or while it's going on, like they really do from other parts of the world be watching. They really do. Not to put pressure on nobody. Like, oh, let's get nervous because they be watching. They don't control nothing. They just watching. They just onlookers, you know. Like, they was looking back when the slaves were the slaves. They were looking back when the women were fighting for rights. They were looking back when we have these religious cults that's gone down before for going to do like Charles Manson and all these type of stories, Jeffrey Dahmer. These are American cases. These are American crime stories. People have watched these. They watch it from all over the world. What's that other one name? He was the clown. That was a true story. He dressed up as clown just to get kids and go. And like, bro, you only heard about this over here in America. These type of stories. I ain't gonna say only here. It's criminals everywhere. But, I mean, who goes as far as to dress up like a clown and have balloons and candy so the kid gets in his van? I forgot his name. That's not Jeffrey Dahmer. But even his is crazy. You going this far. And they still want to sit back and say, I didn't know a person would go that far to do this and that. You've seen it with other cases. You know, one case I saw, this man was going, he was supposedly a missionary, pretty much. Like, he would travel the world to help out at different orphanages. The whole time, the police didn't say how much footage they caught this man with. Pretty much of him doing the wrong thing to children. But he was going under the name of missionary work. And I don't like how, you know, they're just trying to repeat this cycle, like, and make some people look like that. That's a problem. The ones that's actually good with the kids, leave them alone and let the kids have the good of the world. Y'all don't deserve it. You want to be adults and take their good too. You had your good days already. Cops and everybody. If you grown, you already had your good days. Give those good days to the kids. But you got to come and try to steal their innocence too and use them too. Because, like, I'm just sorry that young man in that car was, he's young. He probably ain't no, like, preteen or teen or nothing. He's just a young man. You could look at that video and feel his fear. You know what I mean? But he's keeping his composure the whole way through it. It made those cops look a little, I know they called them trigger happy before, but pretty much they look that way. And that's why I said he is a testimony that could have been very much worse. That's why people are talking about it. Because how much aggression they were already using just in the beginning. So why don't they teach us that? You want us to know the law, you want us to know our rights, but what do we do when we're in these situations? Why don't more cops actually come out and give advice about that? Literally. Because maybe you're not like your enforcement buddy, but what do we do when we're faced with it? What do we do as the public, as the citizens? Because even when people go out there and protest and riot, you want to be out there with your shields and guns and tell everybody to calm down. So how about we do a new thing and we stand up and we teach the people more too? Hey, this is what you do when a cop is talking to you outside of your right. This is what you do when, no, they ain't doing that. You have to be at home teaching your family about that. That's why his dad came out and spoke on his behalf. He know what it shows he had good parenting for his child to not become the aggressor at any time in this situation and just keep his composure. What else can you do? This authoritarian is way higher than your position and even has more weapons on him at the time while he's doing what he's doing to you. We thought that's what thugs do. They steady trying to put, hey guys, this is what thugs look like. But you're being caught more on the technology that you pushed out here to people, not the police. But, you know, they even have phones and stuff. So now you're mad. This technology is helping everybody. We're seeing who the real thug, like literally in real time. These videos be live or right there on video camera. This ain't no AI stuff. This is still people real lives. And you want to drown us out with AI and say, well, you can't tell what's real no more. No, we can still tell. Then you want to control the videos. Well, do you even need video footage anymore? Because you cannot sit here and tell people what, oh, see, we just caught that on camera, so this must mean that. It's just stupid. It's dumb when people can see it with their own eyes, who the real thugs are, who really likes to group up and jump on people, who really likes to group up and set people up. The thugs look like angels to some of these thugs. You know what I'm saying? But they like, no, they're a thug. Well, Tupac said, is there a heaven for a G? Are thug angels real? Because compared to the other side of what people can do as a gang or group to come together and use their power to do it. To them, the more manpower, the better, I guess. I don't know. But there is a real power that some of us believe in. Is God Almighty, and it's just gonna challenge that to the end, if you ask me, because that one lady even got jumped on in her house. She got gunned down in her house for calling on Jesus when she was the one called the police for help. She called them because there was some suspicious activity around her home. I remember that story. That one was just last summer, I think. It ain't older than 2 summers ago. I forgot what state it happened in, but she was trying to turn the water off on her stove, and she lost her life. And rest in peace to her, too, on tonight, because it make you think about all of it once you have another story and another story, He told her, what did you say? Don't threaten me. And all the lady said was Jesus. Or Jesus loves you. Something like that. And they blurred the camera out on that part, but the footage is still available out there. He comes from a house call to a victim and ends up attacking the victim, saying that he felt threatened. Once again, that was one of those situations where the camera is what told the story. You cannot just say whatever no more. Cameras technology is so advanced. They can zoom in times 20. It's called zoom. Boom. You know what I mean? They can even turn it from different directions and look at it upside down, and y'all will be surprised. Cameras is not what you should be scared of. The zoom feature is. Especially when you're not doing the right thing. You notice they didn't start all that hitting on him and really jumping on him till they got him out of the car. Till they had him outside of the car. It just looks cowardly to some people because he was all by himself. And you're wondering why. Well, that you can't do that. You can't call them thugs. Ain't that what the thugs do when they say they know us as thugs? That's what you know a thug to do. They go outside and jump people. And they gonna flash their guns and everything. And the only thing different with them, y'all have badges and a uniform on. Didn't we talk about that on another stream? Anybody can put a uniform on. And we mean that technically, like go to the costume store and buy a uniform and put it on. That's why you'll notice a lot of companies, after you are terminated or resign, they do ask for your badge back, your apron, whatever the job is, your hat, your uniform. That's the word I was looking for. They ask you to turn it back in. Now, the ones that make you pay for it, I think that needs to be done away with too. Because see, a article of clothing that you pay for, you can keep even after you don't work there anymore. You see how that's a problem? I get how it's technically yours because you bought it, but should you even still be with all the identity theft going on today? All work uniforms, or it should be against the law to just be out in a company shirt or something like that, and you don't work for them no more. What y'all think about that? Because look how people can just still put that on and pretend they work somewhere. Check stubs and bank statements are still that number one thing that proves that you work somewhere, not just you having the, not just you showing some numbers saying that this is your badge, your accreditation. That's the word I was looking for. They say if these are real credentials, your workmanship is going to show that. You see how they try to use that? Well, if you don't have this honor, this badge, this rank, you're not one of us. And then they hate the ones that your workmanship shows that. Even without that, you keep your badge, keep your crown, keep your ranks, keep your little jewels and trinkets. But do not sit there and come against the rights of people who show, if anybody deserve it, they do. That's number one. Number two, it's like without it, it's still, people still see it. You just don't want to give them that award, certificate, honor, badge. You feel like they don't deserve now nutter. You feel like actually they've had enough. They don't need no more awards, but their life is steady showing that they deserve each and every one of them. Especially these black people keeping their composure through the race, through these violent attacks. We call it violent when it's invasive like that. Like, they don't care whether you want peace or not. They're here to invade. They're here to kind of like busting a door down. I'm done with the topic, y'all, but positive thoughts and prayers for sure. Not just now, but for the rest of their family's life, because why were they chosen for this particular type of humiliation and violent attack against them? Because you attack one in a family. I don't know why people don't look at it like that no more, but you're really attacking that whole family. Let's be honest. Turn it down, baby. She's asleep. Oh, I thought you were going back there. Yeah, like, how are you not attacking the whole family when you come after one for no reason? And then say you're going to arrest the whole family too for them having something to say about it. You just going to mess with them. People should not be using their authority for that. And I'm ending it right here. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe, share to show your support. And prayers for that young man and his family at this time. The justice is just evident that a person deserves sometimes. When you see the height of the aggression in that way, coming from where it shouldn't come from. You see how everybody talk about domestic violence? When it's cops, that ain't domestic violence. You don't even know them. You don't know them like that. The police force felt well enough to hire them. They felt they knew them well enough for that. You didn't. If more of the people had, that's not something they vote in either. I've noticed they swear in. Certain things the people are voted in. But that might need to be another one of those that happens that way too. It's a good idea. People is quick to holler at what their tax dollars pay for, so wouldn't you want more of a opinion of who is behind these public service uniforms? They should be voted in, not just sworn in because they passed a test in a training. A psychopath is very intelligent. You see what I'm saying? They actually, some of them leave little clues and notes every time. When they're a serial killer, they like to leave clues and stuff and riddles. They have very advanced minds. And it's like, if they go in these acts of flexing their power to hurt people, then you are trying to show us that. You got enough sense to do that? We, the people that you're supposed to be over every day and protecting and serving, we should be able to vote according to these people's track records. Who should be allowed to be in or not, especially the chiefs and especially the higher ups and stuff, for sure. Why only the president we vote? Now that I think about it, why? Politicians, mayors, and senators and stuff like this, everybody voting. And if you don't vote, They pick who they want. That's the thing here. But we never had a right for that. They just get to pass a training and an academy, and then they're an officer. Because sometimes, let's say it's one vote that didn't want the person in there, and 30 votes said, yeah, all they need is 31. And they asked that one person why that one person opinion might save the whole city. But, you know, Batman, that's why people like them have to come in and help the police. Batman, Spider-Man, they just hire anybody in there. But the real villain is working with them. Stupid stuff like that. I don't know. Like, let the people vote. I don't know how that's possible, but they should have, you went and made a platform for sex offenders. People can go see, once they're registered, that is a public record. You can see who's a sex offender in your community. Yeah, they can still get apartments and jobs depending on where they're trying to work, but they can still live a life after getting out of prison for that. And people do. But people don't all know that. Like, you can actually look that up anytime right on your device, and you'd be surprised. It might say your neighbor, your somebody down the street, you know, is at least, you know, like, hey, I don't want my kids going down there playing down that area. 10 people popped up on the sex offender register list, you see? But if they can fund whole systems like that, why can't we see the records and histories? See, that's what makes it badges of honors. They just like the part where they on stage receiving it. What if we had a system where you can see their honors too? You see their good deeds over the course and period of time of their work with a lot of these authoritative positions. It's like we need something like that. And then when they do stuff like this that we seen with that young man, it shows that too. And why they were fired and what happened with it. At least people know. And it should show their public face too, just like they do us on a mugshot. You give too much people too much power, this type of stuff we keep happening. Thank you guys for your support. Until next time.